Essentially, I did a straight embed of this YouTube video, but I wanted to act a little more responsive. Let's first add a new document page specifically for this embed. So right now it lives on doc example MD. Let's create a new one. I'm going to right click, new, file. Let's call this YouTube example.md. All right, I'm going to open up doc example MD real quick and just copy and then just paste in that metadata. And I'll change out the title to YouTube example. And the description, I'll just leave blank. Also go back to docexample.md and then find that YouTube embed, and then we'll paste it in here as well into YouTube example.md. We don't really need to modify this, but what we are going to do is install a plugin for Tailwind that allows this to be more responsive. For that, we'll start over in package.json, and we're going to add some new dependencies, one for the dependencies section and one for dev dependencies. All right, so first dependencies, we're going to add the plugin Tailwind aspect ratio. For the version, we'll put in 3.0.0. Okay, now for our dev dependency, we're going to add in Tailwind CSS -responsive and then -embed right there. And for that version, we'll select 1.0.0. Well, actually, it looks like I installed the wrong plugin here. Let's do the CSS aspect ratio, and then that one was version 3. All right, and now to actually install these, we'll open up our terminal and then close out this current process. Let's go ahead and clean that up a little bit, and then type in yarn install. And that will install those two packages. We'll next need to go into the tailwind.config.js file, and we'll need to add in the two plugins here. So require, then the first one we'll add is Tailwind CSS -responsive -embed, and then require, and then we'll add in the second one, which is Tailwind aspect ratio. So now that we have our two plugins defined here, let's move up above a little bit, and we're going to add to the theme. For the theme, we're dumping in some aspect ratio definitions here that is more conducive of YouTube videos. Plus, under the variance section, we'll add aspect ratio for responsive. Okay, let's save this out and then open the terminal back up and then run yarn dev. Once this is done running, we'll go take a look at our browser, and what I expect to see is on that new markdown page that we created, that page will show the embed, and it will be more responsive than just dumping the straight embed from YouTube into the page. But of course, before we do that, let's also make a link out of the table of contents that points to the YouTube example. Let's clean this up a little bit and then head over to docs content. And then for link 2, let's go ahead and add in YouTube example. And we'll save that out. All right, now for the moment of truth, let's open up our browser and take a look and see if we did good. We'll click on link 2, and oh, cool. Not only do we see the header, which is the title that we're pulling in from the page metadata, but we also see that the YouTube video seems so far to be a little more responsive. At least with this larger screen, it's taken up a lot more space. If you recall, it was just a little rectangle before. For the real test, let's play around with the screen width and see how it responds. All right, let's make the width smaller. Ooh, there we go. It's exactly what I wanted to see. That's nice and responsive.